many people are like, they think that money is like the end all be all, right? They think, oh, this person is making so much money and they're so happy. Well, so I kind of thought like the same thing, when I was in my early 20s, because my dad pressured me a lot. My dad wasn't like very loving. He kind of thought that as long as he worked really hard and like supplied for the family, provided for the family, then his job was like basically done. So I
Yeah.
kind of thought like, okay, maybe if he kind of pushed me into going to investment banking. I thought, okay, maybe if I do investment banking and like go to a good school and things like that, then like my dad will like show like more love towards me, or like things like that. Like now we have a close relationship, but before we didn't. So I was like doing investment banking and I was making really, really good money, but my life was really, really bad. Like um, I was working like 80, 90, sometimes 100 hours a week with tremendous amounts of stress. And because of that, I was having to take like antidepressants and like anti-anxiety medication just to
Wow.
cope with the high levels of stress. And I really like hated my life. And I also think it's important to look at it's a skill to be able to handle success and to be able to handle money. I truly believe that Meet Kevin would be better off if he never opened up a YouTube channel, because I look at some of his behavior and
Yeah.
he just strikes me as someone who is very self-destructive, and I don't think that he would have been that way had he not opened up a YouTube channel. Like drinking, like the DUI thing, um, even like buying a jet. I mean, just what was it like? The quote by Felix Dennis, like if it floats, flies, or
Nice.
or the other thing, rent it. Like why? I understand that Meet Kevin might be worth like 20 or 30 million dollars, but even if you're worth 20 or 30 million dollars, why are you buying a depreciating asset with a tremendous amount of maintenance capital expenditures every single year, that for like one third of your net worth? It's just very, very foolish to do that. And
It's
I
like
think,
two-thirds of his net worth. It's even higher than that because he lost like $10 million on Tesla last year.
yeah. So
It's
this,
crazy.
so I guess the reason why I'm saying this is, even if you perceive someone to be like making a ton of money, I don't think that that you should be jealous of them. Like, because you don't know how they spend their free time. Maybe they're like addicted to pills, or maybe they're like engaged in like negative behavior. Like you see it all the time, where you can just never tell. Just I think the most important thing is to be your own best friend and really like just try to improve yourself to be the best version of yourself. But I think it's very common for many people who sacrifice a lot to make a lot of money, which is what someone like me, Kevin, did. He was very prolific. He makes a ton of videos, or at least he used to. Um, I don't necessarily think that YouTube has been kind to him. I think that it's actually hurt him, just from looking at his behavior from like a bird's eye view.
Interesting. Yeah, I would agree with that. But then my question would be, whose fault is it in that? Is it his fault? Is it that he just made a bad decision with being on YouTube? Is it the personality? Because Kevin was like the hero of the retail investing community back during the bubble in 2020 and 2021. He was the hero. Everybody loved him. He was the face of, I would say, YouTube finance. I think he really was, with the live streams and everything like that. And then 2022, his entire world just flipped upside down. Employees left him, lost his friends, like the big YouTuber guys, got a DUI, all this stuff. It's just like, what do you think about that? Because, I'd say I'm probably the most critical of Kevin on YouTube. I've made like 50 videos about the guy. I've made so many videos just digging into different parts of what he does. You know what I mean? Different things he said, the jet, all these different things. I mean, what do you think?
I think it's a combination. I mean, look, if he doesn't have the self-awareness where if he knows that he's making bad decisions, but at the same time he's doing things to hurt his audience, then in my opinion, he's fair game, because not only is he hurting himself, but he's actually hurting other people. So in that case, I don't think that he should be given a pass. I think that it's really incumbent upon him to make good decisions and realize and like evaluate like who he is now versus who he was like 3 or 4 years ago. Now he speaks extremely well. He gives a good presentation, but even like there were signs that he sometimes would make bad decisions, like with the Grant Cardone, with the Grant Cardone situation when he like went dressed up as an elf and stuff. I
Yeah.
mean, that was just kind of unnecessary. And I used to do like a lot of stupid things too and take risks, but he's married with kids and I'm married with kids too, and because of that, I take much, much less risk and I'm much
Yeah.
less risk seeking. So I just hope that for Kevin's sake, he's able to take a step back and say, okay, maybe I sacrifice a little bit of money short term, but it increases my longevity and I feel better about myself and I become much healthier. So, but if you believe that not only is he making bad decisions, but he's continuing to hurt his audience, then I think that's fair game. Like nobody wants. It's kind of like nobody wants to be friends with someone, and I'm not saying that this is the case with him. I've never spoken to him, but like no one wants to
Mhm.
be friends with someone who makes a mistake and then blames other people. It's
Yes.
like you can't be friends with those people. Like you,
Yeah.
you want someone who is like, okay, they made a mistake and then they acknowledge it. They're like, hey, like this is what I did. I screwed up. All right, I'm going to learn from this, and then they actually genuinely take steps to improve. Um, but just with Kevin's case, I I don't see that happening at this moment, unfortunately.
Yeah, it doesn't. I'll tell you something. Kevin and I, we have a crazy history. So he's been on my channel twice. The first time he came on was after I exposed that he got a DUI. I think there was so much pressure and so much happening. I think, he was like, okay, I have to go on this guy's channel. And when I first spoke to him face to face, that just kind of fully showed me that everything I thought about this person was true. You know what I mean? And I get into this weird conflicted space where I'm like, I don't know if I'm talking to somebody who's a legit bad person, which don't get me wrong, I'm not excusing the things that he's done, but I don't know if it's that this guy just downright needs help or what it is. You know what I mean? But I think you kind of talked about it when you said the self-destructive personality. That's exactly what it is.
It seems
And
like that. I mean,
yeah,
nobody's. I mean, drinking and driving, like buying a jet, like
showing
drinking
up
on
to
a
my
lot.
interview drunk, he showed up to
Yeah,
my interview blackout drunk, just
yeah.
saying crazy stuff. It was
Like
crazy.
wasn't he like? I think maybe I'm wrong, but like someone showed up, or maybe it was on Strongman's channel where someone showed up late. I mean, even if Kevin has like
Yeah. He
hundreds of
showed up to my
thousands or
interview
millions,
late.
millions of followers, I mean,
Yeah.
it's just common courtesy. Like,
Yeah.
be respectful towards other people, and so I think that he's going down that path. And do I think that he definitely has the possibility and the ability to turn it around? Yes, but I think that him, like taking a few months off YouTube and I've never like spoken to his wife and I don't know who his wife is, but I know that if I did something wrong, like my wife would like sit me down and like yell at me and like tell me like, no, like this is what you did wrong, because she
Yeah.
has like such a strong like moral compass that it's helped me become like a better person. So maybe
Good.
he doesn't have that, but it just seems like he's engaging in behavior where if it continues to get worse, that things are probably not going to end well for him.